Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 20 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather, though, because Jefferson, it's hot. One of the three factors in fire danger.
Yeah, hot, dry, and breezy. What we always talk about when we talk about fire safety. And unfortunately, we are going to have all three of those in our viewing area for today. It is going to be a hot and blustery Friday. And of course, we haven't seen much in the way of precipitation at all in the past couple of months. That dry weather is just going to continue through today. Now, as we go into the weekend, we are going to stay dry and breezy, but at least it is going to be cooler this weekend. So when it comes to fire danger, today is certainly the highest fire danger before the gusty and cooler weekend. And then as we go towards Monday, clouds in general will increase with maybe even an outside chance of a shower or two. We'll talk more about all three of these headlines more coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning talking fire season. We're currently under a red flag warning, and while there aren't many fire concerns in the immediate area currently, there are plenty of fires burning across the region. There are 15 large wildfires burning throughout the Pacific Northwest. These aerials are from the Pomus fire, currently at 3,500 acres in north central Washington. More than 5,200 firefighters and support personnel are deployed across Oregon and Washington with 335 fire engines and 40 helicopters. And help is needed to find a missing teenager who has not been seen since April of this year. Sela Wasis is 22 years old and a Yakima tribal member. Sela, her grandmother has reported her missing as through the Yakima Nation Tribal Police. If you have any information at all regarding Sela's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Yakima Tribal Police at the number on your screen. The details are also up on our Facebook page. In Benton County, a called-in tip about a reckless driver led to an arrest. Sheriff's deputies say they pulled over this car after someone saw them swerving and possibly hitting a guardrail near Sellards and T. Yackle roads. Deputies say the driver gave them a fake Florida driver's license and was arrested on suspicion of DUI. They also found he had an active drug trafficking warrant out of Mississippi. The car was reported stolen from the Seattle area. Toppenish city leaders are asking citizens to use proper organizations to help distribute food donations. This is a picture of dumpsters that code enforcement officers filled with trash, half-eaten food, and other items left behind at city parks and rights of way. Police even arrested several people for leaving this trash behind. Police say this problem is on the rise, adding many of these items are being donated, but they're being dropped off at parks and city rights of way, with food and items getting damaged, lost, or even spoiled, making them unusable. Police say the donations would make a bigger impact if they were made at appropriate locations where there's capacity to hold those donations and distribute them as needed. Switching gears this morning, protests against the Trump administration's mass deportations and federal cuts took place at more than 1,600 locations around the country yesterday, including in Yakima. The Good Trouble Lives On National Day of Action honors the late Democratic Congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis. Organizers called for peaceful demonstrations, as Lewis would have wanted.
This is actual grassroots democracy. This is the elections that do matter. You know, we see all this chaos that's going on around the country, but this is where we can really act.
Now, protests occur every year on July 17th, the day that Congressman Lewis passed away. And first responders are warning about the dangers of our local waterways, as they've already responded to over a dozen calls this year in our area. Keeper Zayn Whitaker tells us more.
If you're in the water!
Summer in the Tri-Cities brings high temperatures, leaving many people looking for a way to cool off, especially during Water Follies weekend. But local first responders are asking everyone to stay safe if they choose to hit the water.
We've had an increase of calls this year for water rescue here in the Yakima River. Floating the river is a great time, but we want people to do it safely. So the way I think about it, it's like a seat belt. You know, when you go somewhere in a car, you put your seat belt on. If you're going to be in the water playing, get that personal flotation device on.
Unlike your public pool, there aren't lifeguards on standby in case of an emergency. A response from water rescue teams usually takes a minimum of 10 minutes, and that's only if they know where you're at.
There's not a lot of access to the river. It's not like your house where you have several roads going to it. So there's only certain access points we can get in to get our tools, equipment, get a boat in the water, or do whatever we're going to do.
When you're in the water, anything could happen. It's a split second and you're the help. So if something happens to you, there may not be that much backup coming anytime soon. Compared to on land, it could you could have help just minutes away.
Some of our members on our swim team are triathletes. They go out and compete in triathlons and stuff, but you will never find them out here on the river without a personal flotation device on.
Today, crews showed how a rescue might look if they know where someone is at, and even now, the responders here to help on shore were also wearing their life jackets.
We had an emergency call out here on the water a couple months ago. Actually lost a couple of our members into the water unexpectedly. But again, because they were prepared, they had the right tools on, they were equipped to go into the water, everything was fine. We're just asking the citizens to do the same thing. Come prepared and be safe for yourself and your family. Everybody goes home having a good time.
Many access points and boat launches across the Tri-Cities have loaner life jackets available for you to use free of charge. Reporting in the Tri-Cities, Aiden Whitaker, Action News.
Aiden Whitaker, thank you. And if you are on a boat, paddleboard, or a kayak, you are required by law to have a life jacket for each person on board, and kids under 12 have to be wearing them at all times. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan. Jefferson, speaking about boats, you have to get them to the river via trailer, so folks got to pick up those chains, be fire aware, especially since we have a red flag warning in effect.
Yeah, red flag warning in effect for today. I imagine most folks, or many folks I should say, will be turning attention towards the river to try to cool off on a day like today. It is going to be hot, dry, and breezy. That is why we have that red flag warning in place, because of critical fire weather conditions. Let's just jump into it right now. It is going to be hot around the viewing area on this Friday. Highs today will climb up to around 100 degrees in the Tri-Cities today. Look for mid to upper 90s in the Yakima Valley, upper 80s, close to low 90s in the Kittitas Valley today, with daytime highs in the mid 90s for the Blue Mountain foothills. Now, what I will say is that early on this Friday, most of us will be looking at sunny skies, and clear skies will stick around for many of us through the day. However, for western Yakima County and western Kittitas County, we could see a resurgence of clouds this afternoon. Now let's turn our attention to the wind side of the story. Dave and I were just talking about this. It is going to be hot, dry, and windy for today. On this Friday, gusts up to 30 miles per hour will be possible in the Tri-Cities, Yakima, and Walla Walla. We could see gusts up to 40 miles per hour today in the Pendleton area, with 45 mile per hour gusts coming for Ellensburg. As we go into Saturday, wind speeds on Saturday are going to be very similar to what we do see for today, but the difference is Saturday is going to be much cooler. So that does bring us to the red flag warning that is in place for a vast majority of our viewing area. This red flag warning does go in place is in effect until 10 p.m. this evening, as we will be subject to those hot, dry, and breezy conditions. Please stay fire safe and fire aware today. If a blaze were to start, it could get going rather quickly. Now, for the next 2 days after today, I mentioned that the weekend is going to be much cooler. Following today, where we will be in the mid to upper 90s, Saturday will feature upper 80s to low 90s as winds do stay pretty gusty. And then on Sunday, we will see mid to upper 80s around the forecast area with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. One more note I would like to make as we take a look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast heading into the start of next week. There is a weather maker that is going to come very close to our viewing area. Now, this is the European model, is suggesting we could see rain showers across our forecast area. Right now, I'm not too sold on rain showers, but you should anticipate at least an increase in clouds on Monday. And if models do continue in a damp direction, we might see some of those rain showers that I will talk about during the newscast this weekend. Right now, I'm going to throw it back to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. We're going to jump to some municipal news. West Richland's Mayor Pro Tem has been elected president of the Association of Washington Cities. Fred Brink has served the public for many years now and was first elected to the association in 2018. He's also the first West Richland City Council member to be elected to the group. With his new leadership role, he plans to bring statewide recognition to West Richland.
I feel privileged and honored, but I'm also very excited about it, Stephanie. I think the biggest thing for me is really being able to advocate on behalf of our city and every other city and town in this state in order to make sure that we, the Association of Washington Cities, and as local elected officials, are doing everything we can for the individuals and the public that we serve.
Now, Brink hopes to work on transportation issues at the state level in his new role. Meanwhile, Cle Elum Mayor Matthew Lund is being criticized for taking on a role with the state organization. Lund has been elected as the secretary for the board of directors for the Association of Washington Cities. He's taking on this role in the middle of the city leaders trying to navigate filing for bankruptcy. Lund says he wants to use this new position to advocate for cities of all sizes. We asked him what he would say to citizens in Cle Elum who might be concerned that taking on this role may be putting too much on his plate.
I would say that, yeah, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? There's a lot going on, but we have the ability to do a lot, and I think that this, like I've said before, this role will definitely, I think, allow me to be a better advocate for our city. It'll give me a reason to visit other cities around the state and be able to see what they're doing. There are things that we can adopt that would improve life for our residents as well as for folks that come and visit and spend their money here.
As Secretary Lund joins the executive committee and is in line for future leadership, he also plans to focus on key issues like wildfire prevention, public safety funding, and protecting infrastructure programs that many cities rely on. Switching gears this morning, as elections begin to take shape and the August 5th primary approaches, city council and school board candidates are at the height of their respective campaigns. Yakima resident Pam Shelton is running for position 1 in the Yakima County School Board. We caught up with her to talk her concerns with the recent staffing cuts.
But I'm really concerned about where our district is going financially. I'm concerned that we had to let teachers go last school year, this school year. That's really our frontline staff. They're the ones that are working with our kids every single day. And when we take teachers out of the classrooms, we're going to wind up overloading classrooms. That makes it more difficult for teachers to actually do their job and teach our kids.
In April, the Yakima School District announced that they lost a total of 48 positions, with 28 of those being classroom teachers. We'll be talking to all of the candidates in the Yakima primary election races in the coming weeks ahead of the polling day on August 5th. The West Valley Fair is underway with the sounds of sheep, cows, and pigs filling the air. It includes a livestock show and sale for Yakima's farmers of the future. KIMA's John Franklin tells us what you can expect.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I started showing here when I was 9 years old, and I started showing beef cattle at that time, and I had goats, and I think I did lambs at one point in my life as well. And then when I was 15 years old, I was on the royalty for the fair as well.
The West Valley Fair is entering its 72nd year this weekend, and the Fair Board works hard to keep a culture reminiscent of the old times right down to the buildings.
This barn back here is one of the original barns that they built back in the day. We've added on a couple barns, but that was the original barn that they built, and I think they started at the Tandem School over yonder, and before they got on with Tampico Saddle Club here.
Families will be out all weekend learning about the livestock that will be presented.
It's excited to be here, so then, because I get to just hang out with the older animals.
For many, raising and showing these animals is a family event.
I raise beef myself, so beef is definitely my favorite. I've had them ever since I was little, and I've seen a lot of these kids grow up and show too, so beef is definitely my favorite, and probably lambs would be second. I never really cared for lambs as a kid, but I really enjoy watching it as an adult.
When I was a baby, my mom used to show cows, and then she just liked cows, and I just started like cows with her.
Lots of livestock is going to be shown throughout the West Valley Fair, and one of the most popular events is the auction afterwards, where a lot of the livestock that was shown is actually going to be auctioned off to the community, which helps these kids get a jump start on getting their cow for next year.
I'm looking forward to the auction. That's always quite fun, seeing new people, seeing those people come out and support, give money back to the fair, give money back to us.
The animals may be different, and the Fair Royalty Court changes every year, but the small fair stays grounded to its roots.
Everything is the same. The rules are probably all the same, just wholesome family event.
For Action News, I'm John Franklin.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. And sticking in the county, a married couple is giving back to Yakima by helping address the area's shortage of medical providers and adding much needed care to the community. KIMA's Anissa Williams introduces us to the wife who opened Yakima General Surgery back in May.
I love working with my husband. He's a great guy, and he's the one who inspired me to start this practice, actually, because he always wanted to do his own primary care. And so he was getting ready to start, and I said, well, shoot, if you can start a practice, then I can start it too.
Dr. Emily Kobayashi moved back to Washington State after working in New Mexico, drawn by her roots in the Northwest. She opened her doors quietly in May and says demand is surging.
I was trying to keep it a secret, and so I was not advertising or even telling people I was open. I was already scheduling surgeries every week, just through friends and family and word of mouth referrals. You know, we're starting to put the word out there. It's getting very busy. And people warn me of the tidal wave, which it's a very happy problem to have.
As a general surgeon, educator, and mother of 4, she performs a wide range of procedures from skin cancer removal and colonoscopies to gallbladder removals and hernia repairs.
What I love about having my own practice is that I don't have a corporation that's paying me that I have to be beholden to. I'm not receiving federal dollars. My money comes from my patient.
In a region where patients often wait months to be seen by a surgeon or drive hours to Seattle, she's looking to change that as her surgeries are done at Astria Toppenish, which is a 30-minute drive.
The question is, can the patients survive, or can they afford to wait 3 or 4 months? I've seen people who are just waiting for the call from UW and losing weight, get admitted to the hospital. They're in severe pain because they need surgery now. A lot of people don't have the family support or the social situation where they can get in a car, drive to Seattle. So it's best to have local options for the people who need it and for the people who want it.
At Yakima General Surgery, patients can typically be scheduled within 2 weeks.
I put Yakima in the name. I'm on Team Yakima, and I think that what makes Yakima General Surgery special is that it's care in Yakima for people of Yakima.
Okay, I'm Zanisa Williams. Thank you. And in some construction news, the building of the new People for People Meals on Wheels kitchen is starting to take shape. The kitchen will be located in the Atanum Business Park, and it will also have offices and a cafe. Right now, all meals are being cooked out of 3 separate community kitchens up and down the valley.
With us having this facility, it's just going to have a central kitchen, so we'll be able to make all of the meals here, and then from here they'll go out to all the different dining rooms, and then as well as frozen meals for our home delivery clients.
Now, People for People were able to secure a $1.3 million loan for the project, and they're still fundraising to offset that loan. They do have a fundraising event coming up soon on September 20th, and that would be the Cowiche Brew Run. And some great news for travelers this morning. A new flight to California is being added to the Tri-Cities Airport. Breeze Airways is making its way to the airport with nonstop service to Burbank, Hollywood, California, along with flights to Provo, Salt Lake City, Utah, both on Wednesdays and Saturdays. These flights will replace Avelo's flights to Burbank, which will be discontinued in December.
It's going to continue to serve Burbank, which was a great market for us, which was a successful flight for Avelo. Again, Avelo closing the West Coast down had nothing really to do with Pasco. It's not just Pasco. They closed their entire West Coast operation down. So our flight was doing well, and I think Breeze saw that and understood our market and wanted to continue to serve that.
Breeze Airways flights out of the Tri-Cities Airport will begin on March 18th of next year. For those needing to fill up their tank before getting out the door this week, and prices at the pump haven't really changed over the last 7 days. Yakimites are paying the same this week as last week at $4.12 a gallon. Over the year, though, prices are up 15 cents. For folks living in the Tri-Cities, prices have dipped 1 cent, now costing $4.19. A year ago, it was 10 cents cheaper. Walla Walla prices have gone 1 cent in the opposite direction, though, over the last week, up to $4.39 a gallon. Still the highest prices locally. Prices in the last year have gone down 8 cents. The state as a whole still paying the 3rd highest gas prices in the country, only behind California and Hawaii, paying on average $4.38 a gallon. That's down 2 cents over the last 7 days, up 12 cents since last year. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, we've got you covered there. For folks living in Yakima, they can head over to Franklin Park for the Summer Sunset Concert Series. The concerts are every Friday until August 15th. Locals will be able to listen to music from 6 to 8 p.m. with Contraband playing tonight. If you're a sneakerhead in the Tri-Cities, we've got an event just for you. The Summers Hub is hosting a sneaker event for folks to add some fly kicks to their collection. It starts tomorrow and goes from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. In Prosser, Art Walk and Wine Gala starting tomorrow night. The annual event goes from 6 to 9:30 p.m. It promises an evening filled with art, wine, food, and entertainment. Over 20 artists will be showcasing their work at Vinters Village. Admission is $25. You must be 21 or older to attend. And want a chance to pet some fluffy friends? You can this Sunday. Just head over to Old Homestead Alpacas in Walla Walla for a meet and greet with, you guessed it, alpacas. The event starts at 10 a.m. and only lasts about an hour. Tickets cost up to $15. And that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, Keeper and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a terrific weekend, everybody.